I'm talking to the pretendians right now. Here's what I mean. Native Americans have a large literature. They have libraries full of literature on their culture, spirituality, sociology, way of life. Native Americans left a record of their civilization. You can read and study Native American civilization. The American African, although it was illegal for us to learn, how to read, we left a vast literature of our experience in America.
It took a century for black people to really see that Garvey was on the right path all along, and that it's time for us to go back to that path. It's the only solution. If we're going to rise as a race, we must rise together everywhere in the world.
I'm going to ask you a two-edged sword question here now. Which one of these two people that run this election you think would be best able to wake up black people out of them slumber if them win the election? Which one of them you think say, if them win, black people will realize how weird a situation them find themselves in now?
I would prefer that the victor be.
One of the main speakers is Umar Johnson. He will be here on the 21st, and we have him online here. Blessed?
Blessed, Brother Muta.
Oh, you know, man?
Blessed. All is well, my brother. Glad to hear your voice.
Well, I know to say you're going all over the place. You're from the west coast to the east, south coast of Africa here. I mean, what's happening there?
Well, Black America is under siege. As you know, we're dealing with police genocide on a level we haven't seen in probably about 60, 80 years. And so African Americans right now are really scrambling for solutions. Many of them don't want to accept the fact that America has never really been interested in having the black man and woman in this country. Many of them have been duped by the whole Obama facade, and now many of them are beginning to wake up to the realities of what the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey taught in Pan-Africanism and, of course, repatriation.
All right, we see today the DOJ, that's what them call themselves, the Department of Justice, come down upon the Baltimore police force and say them is racist. This is the federal government now will label them police in Baltimore as racist, which black people they don't see that already. And how you think that are going to pan out now, given the atmosphere we are going now? How you think that going to pan out? You think say there could be a better police force in Baltimore, given that Baltimore have a very large amount of African people, eh?
Oh, without a doubt. Baltimore is one of the chocolate cities. We often refer to Washington, D.C. as chocolate city, but I would say Baltimore is the real chocolate city because they've gentrified Washington, D.C., so you don't have as many African Americans there as you used to. But in Baltimore, we are still pretty much concentrated in that city. But it's ironic because on the one hand, as you mentioned, they've identified that the Baltimore City Police Department is racist, as are most police departments in America. But at the same time, they did not find any of the police involved in the Freddie Gray case
guilty. They'll never find him. Everybody get off. Everybody get supposed to interview Umar Johnson. That's amazing, man. That is like the FBI man tell us that we should name they do something terrible, but him now go really prosecute her.
Exactly.
Hillary Clinton is like, okay, she did something wrong, but we're not going to prosecute her. She lied to the people, but she never lied to us. So, you know, that make her all right. All right. You have something to say?
Oh, yes. I was going to just add that the reason why none of these police have been found guilty of criminal negligence, going all the way back to Rodney King. I mean, we've been dealing with this for 25 years and longer with hardly any police ever being prosecuted. And that's because you cannot hold the police guilty for murder during the course of a war. So, in other words, America has declared war on black people. And so, in a war, the police are responsible for eliminating the enemy. So you cannot send a soldier to jail for carrying out their lawful responsibility, which is the elimination of African life.
All right, you have been on record saying that black people love to fall in love with politicians and almost make them almost deify them. And you was mentioned that in relationship to Obama. I don't know if you remember saying that. You remember saying that?
We drunk the Obama Kool-Aid, Baba Muta. We drunk the Obama Kool-Aid. I saw it coming. See, in America, and this is probably true globally because we see it in almost most places, black people vote for politicians, but they don't finance the politicians. So they believe that because they voted for the politician, that the politician is obligated to carry out a black agenda. But what they fail to realize, if you don't finance the politician, if you don't keep them politically, financially honest, if they are being financed by white money, if Obama is being put in office by the white Democratic Party's money, no matter how many black votes he got, he's going to be loyal to the hand that paid for his success. Which means that one of the reasons that we find so much corruption and negligence of black people by black politicians is because the average black politician is put in office on white finance campaign money. Until that changes, until we start financing our own candidates, every black politician will always betray his people and always abandon the black agenda until black people wake up to the reality that voting is not as important as financing the candidate.
Yeah. You know, that is a good example again is Baltimore, where the most of the people on the top is black people. But yet still that racism has continued for years without abating. Even though you have black this, black that, black mayor, black whatsoever in that part of the earth. You know, it's amazing that black people is in that situation. And I tend to want to agree with you. Because it is not their money that is turning, black people money is turning these politicians. Them can't do nothing about it. Them just can't do nothing about it. So we're in a dilemma. So, all right, you will be here on the 21st. You will be here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. And I'll probably be coming in, Baba Muta, about a day or two earlier, so I'll already be there before the 21st. But definitely, I will be there on the 21st to honor the greatest African leader of the 20th century. Mm-hmm. Probably the greatest African organizer in modern history, in His Excellency, the Provisional President of Africa, the Right Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I'll be very much looking forward to it. It'll be my first time in Jamaica since, I want to say, 2011.
I saw you at the university. You was at the university.
Yes.
I think Michael Barnett was the one who was responsible for that invitation.
That is correct.
And I remember
it's been about 5 years.
I remember that we spoke at the Yoruba Center in South Carolina at that time.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember.
Yes, I remember. That's when we met. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
we spoke together at that function there. And
indeed. I think also one of the Jamaican hip hop artists was there, Taris Riley, I believe.
No, man. You remember the Yoruba grounds? There was not a show, you know. It was right.
It was a lecture with you and I, but I think he made a special guest appearance, didn't he? I remember seeing him come through there saying a couple of words. I think.
I don't remember that. But okay. All right. I noticed that you have been traveling a lot. I mean, you know, why? What is happening? What is happening with your travels here now? Because I know you was in West Africa last week, I guess.
Yes.
And you was in South Africa.
Yes.
Where are you now?
Now I'm back home, for lack of a better word, I'll say home.
All right.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I was born and raised. So
Yeah.
I'm back on the home turf. But yes, we was in Senegal.
So what was happening in Senegal?
South Africa.
What was happening in Senegal?
Senegal, a lot of opportunity in Senegal for African people to come back and invest and participate because it is a francophone country, colonized by the French. One of the things we find is that the francophone countries in Africa don't get the same type of attention,
as the British
interest, as the Anglophone country, and that's something that we're going to have to change within the world of Pan-Africanism, because I spoke in Paris last year, and that was one of the themes that constantly came up during my visit, was that the Pan-Africanist leadership globally tends to run to the Anglophone countries.
Because of the language, a lot of that is because of the language.
Yes.
Yeah, the language is kind of what separates us a lot of times, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we got to overcome it, though.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lopsided approach.
Definitely. What was happening in South Africa? What was happening in South Africa?
Well, South Africa was hot while we were there, politically hot.
The election.
Yes, the election. And what we saw happen there was historic, because the ANC, African National Congress, the ruling party, lost some major provincial elections. They lost Johannesburg, and I believe they also lost Pretoria.
They lost
so not only did they lose the biggest city, they also lost the ruling city.
Yes.
And many people are crediting the young brother who broke away from the ANC Youth League. And he started the EFF party, and many people are crediting him with the ANC's losses by wooing some of the black vote towards his party. And so now what's going on is that the leadership of the ANC has defied President Jacob Zuma, who did not want them to enter into talks with the young brother, but they have decided on their own, against the president's wishes, to sit down with the young brother and see if they can reach some sort of compromise that allows the two parties to work together or come back together, so they can try to keep black people
a kind of coalition thing.
Yeah, because the Democratic Alliance, which is the white party, they've won some of these provinces, and the Democratic Alliance, they go back to the Union of South Africa. They are the white ones. They are the white racist ruling elite, but they do have a black face, just like in America they use Obama. Democratic Alliance, they got a black guy who they are using as their puppet. And so something better happen soon, because the way it's looking is that in the next 10 years, white folks will be back in charge of South Africa politically.
Well, it's not far. It's not far at all. I don't really like hear what Winnie Mandela have to say about all of this, And I really love hear what she has to say about it, because I know she was very skeptical about the direction the ANC was going after Mandela. She was very skeptical about it. That is why she was ostracized so much. Even after Mandela, she was very ostracized. I think she's a persona non grata right now in America and Canada, if I'm not mistaken. She's not
very true.
There,
And in fact, one of the things I respect, that I have to respect about President Jacob Zuma, although I disagree with a lot of what he's done or hasn't done politically and economically, he was the first president of the three democratically elected presidents, President Mandela and President Mbeki being the previous two. He was the first one to really give Winnie Mandela the type of respect that she was entitled to as mother of the nation. President Mandela and President Mbeki really didn't give her much honor at all, but President Zuma saw to it that, she had her own living quarters, her own security, her own escort. It's not the best arrangement, but he did give her a degree
I respect,
of executive recognition. So I respect him for doing that. But going back to your point about the ANC, one of the reasons that they lost, in addition to the formation of the EFF and a young charismatic brother and what he's been able to do, is, as you stated or alluded to, they've become very conservative since taking over the government. In fact, the ANC, in many respects, has almost went 360 degrees.
Yes.
In the way they approach totalitarianism, structural inequality, bias, and disproportionality.
And it starts from the
in
release.
South Africa don't think they're doing nothing for them, Baba Muta. They see them as neo-colonialist puppets. Now, I wouldn't agree with that totally, but that is the sentiment in South Africa right now.
And it starts from the release of Nelson Mandela from prison. As he become the president, that is when it starts. A lot of it. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's what I am saying.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Nelson Mandela, just like Obama, pacified the revolution and the spirit to rise up of black people, both in South Africa and in America. Black people's spirit was left domiciled because of these two leaders.
Yeah. And what a lot of people don't understand is that right before the elections in '94 in South Africa, the white ruling elite had Chris Hani assassinated.
Yes. Yeah.
Just before the elections, because Chris Hani did not agree with the negotiations and the way in which they were going.
Yes.
And because he was president of Mkhonto we Sizwe, the military wing of the ANC, he was prepared to organize his troops again and go back to fighting against the white ruling elite until they came to the table with a proposition that was more accepting and beneficial to the black masses of South Africa. And once he made that declaration, they had him murdered because they felt that they could negotiate with Mandela, but they could not negotiate with Chris Hani. And that also explains why Robert Sobukwe, while they were in prison in Robben Island, he was the only political prisoner who was separated from the others. Mandela and the others were allowed to interact with each other, but Robert Sobukwe was kept totally separate from everyone. And that was because they feared that Robert Sobukwe, if he was allowed to stay around Mandela, he would have influenced Mandela to go hardcore Pan-African nationalism versus that integrationism that the government ultimately embraced.
All right, so give a little, I don't know if you had already prepared what would be your topic in Jamaica at the moment, but I know I don't really like, give a little synopsis of what you're going to talk about coming here, or you don't prepare that yet?
Well, we know that Garveyism is going to be the foundation of the message, but I'm going to link it to the modern day struggles. So, in other words, I want to approach it from a perspective that we are in the condition we are in globally as African people because we have abandoned the message and the philosophy of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. And in America in particular, you know, as you know, that ever since Mr. Garvey's deportment in '29, most of the leadership and organizations that have sprung up after Garvey have had an anti-African message. If you look at many of them, and I respect all of them for the great work that they've done, but they didn't come with an African ideology.
No.
Nearly every organization post-Garvey had come up with an Asiatic identity, an Islamic identity, a Moorish identity, you know, a Hebrew
African-American identity.
Exactly. But they took us away from Africa for the Africans. And so it's ironic that going into 2017, we're almost 100 years to the first international convention, you know, and it took a century for black people to really see that Garvey was on the right path all along. And that it's time for us to go back to that path. It's the only solution. If we're going to rise as a race, we must rise together everywhere in the world.
I'm going to ask you a two-edged sword question here now. Which one of these two people that run this election you think would be best able to wake up black people out of them slumber if them win the election? Which one of them you think, say, if them win, black people will realize how weird a situation them find themselves in now?
I would prefer that the victor be Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump, see, the Democratic Party likes to manipulate black people into the illusion
that
of
everything is
inclusion.
okay. Yes.
Yes, whenever we get a Democratic president, because we believe that they are the party for black folk, although there's no evidence to that proof. But whenever we get, or any proof to that evidence, any evidence to prove that, but whenever we get a Democratic president, we stop fighting because we think they are the party of black folks.
Right.
So I would prefer a Republican president, because Republicans are very honest about their opinion of black people. Very honest.
Okay.
Donald Trump is an unapologetic racist. And because of that, I think his method of communication is more conducive to waking up black people than Hillary Clinton. However, I do believe that Hillary Clinton will be the victor. And I say that because her husband was already a president.
Yes.
He's a Bilderberg.
And she's
he
a money foundation. She have all the big man them behind her.
She's the choice.
Yes.
And with her being a woman, Muta, here's the thing. With her being a woman, I believe that she would be more effective than even President Obama towards coming into Africa, coming into the Caribbean, coming into Central South America, coming into black countries, and seducing the president into whatever political, economic scheme the American government wants them to accept. I'm very fearful of how much worse we will be in, how much worse of a condition we will be in if Hillary Clinton is elected, because I really believe that she will be able to use her charm, her charisma, and her feminine energy to get a lot out of Caribbean presidents and African presidents.
But we see that already. We see that already over the past 8 years, well, not even 8 years, over the past 4 years, with a systematic drive to militarize African soil. You know, she as a foreign secretary was able to push American military in Africa even much more than Bush himself. You know, and she was responsible. She's responsible for the rise of ISIL in Libya and in Syria.
No, without question.
Yes.
In fact, I would argue that ISIS, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and half of these so-called terrorists that America is fighting are nothing more than creations of the CIA.
Oh, yeah?
They have a long history,
of course,
of creating terrorism to justify their invasion
of countries,
of countries, so they can go in and colonize and steal the mineral resources under the disguise of making the world safe for democracy.
Okay, all right. So you will be here. I see that you will be at the University of the West Indies on the 23rd of August.
Okay, I didn't know that, but looking forward to
it. Yes. I think, Michael Barnett can't have you in a 8 years. I don't decide to say, but okay, you got kids at the university. Sorry, at the university in Montego Bay, sorry. It's Montego Bay. You're going to be at the university in Montego Bay.
Okay.
There is a campus of the University of the West Indies in Montego Bay, the Western Jamaica campus.
Gotcha.
So you will be there on the 23rd. The man, they plan out everything for you already. You get planned out.
Okay.
I am
glad to hear that, though. Yeah. Glad to hear that.
You know, Mr. Small will be here too. Professor Small will be here too.
Yes. Bobby Smalls. Yes. Sir.
So you're in good company. You're in good company.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned 3. Who's the third speaker, Baba Muta?
He's the head of the new Black Panther Party.
Oh, brother Nzinga.
Yes, Nzinga, yes. He's the head of the
Good brother. Yes, sir.
He will be here also.
All right.
So we're looking forward to seeing you and looking forward to listening to you. I hope that the people them will be appreciative of the effort that IRFM is doing to bring a man like you here to talk to them. You know, because it's very important. It's very important that people grasp what IRFM is trying to do in relationship to bringing speakers like you here for really solidify this Marcus Garvey push. So we give thanks and just anticipating your return to Jamaica.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you. Looking forward to getting back on the ground. It's been 5 years, a long time. A long time.
Definitely.
But I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait for the date to arrive.
Give thanks.
Give thanks. Blessed love.
Yes. That was Umar Johnson. He will be one of the main guest speakers at IRFM annual tribute to Marcus Garvey on the 21st, which is a Sunday, right here in the courtyard of IRFM. And this is partnered with Roots Foundation for IRFM's annual tribute to Marcus Garvey. So we want you to know that is taking place right here on the grounds of IRFM. We continue the journey, you know, because this 21st is a big time, big. It's gonna be different from all the other ones them ever keep. Given that we see the team, I don't know if I want to call them team, you know. I'll Tracy involved in the team too, you know. The A team. Spearheaded by the program manager, director of IRFM, Kabumahatiru, featuring Keshima, Shamara, Tony, Samantha, Gavin Naito. Gavin Naito? No. Oh, you never see smoke without fire, you know. That's why Gavin tell me say he want some book for borrow. Them a brainwash him upstairs now. Gavin said, you can't make them some of your kind of book them. I bring one for him and I tell him, so I go and quiz him after I'm done read it. I go and quiz him after I'm done read it. And I'm glad to, is one of the only person I ever hear say he want to borrow a book from me. Something like happen. When I hear Gavin say he want to borrow a book from me, something like happen. And I feel proud for lending him the book. Very proud, and if he want more, I will lend him it too. Because I never hear nobody don't ask me for borrow a book yet. Never. Yes, so Gavin, enough respect. Still, me not still say it on the A team still. I'll be a big up there. The A team. It's going to be nice. Looking forward to it too. You know, so we perform now with bad already. Whatever go like at the first me ever do it. So I refer know if it sell things, you know, them come like Hillary Clinton. Come know for sell things, you know. Come, hey, you know, so one time they did not sell sunshine in a buckle on a mobile. A tourist in a bite, you know. Cabo come like she used to live on a mobile, you know. She know for sell. She know for sell sunshine in a buckle. Believe you me, when you done, man, you buy not only the buckle of the sunshine, but you ask for all the cloud too. I don't lie, me I tell you. Sometimes I talk to these people, make it so like a joke, Muta, the biggest joke I know. Me say, you have some man that walk on the beach on a Montego Bay, I sell sunshine, Jamaican sunshine in the buckle, and them did I sell it too. Oh, so if them cannot sell sunshine in a buckle, I mean no say Cabo was part of that scam thing down there, sunshine in a buckle. You can't imagine what she can do so when she have the resources for doing it. Some serious turn in the earth, you know, that people have to really open their mind and take a stock. There's a time when we talk about Africa, people look at me like, when I'm mad people, when we want to go to Africa, you know, it's pure starvation down there and bang belly pick me and flying at them mouth and all them something there. Come the 21st century, you know, we say Africa is like a centerpiece right now. No matter which continent you're on, all eyes is on Africa. Because the movement, if you do it sometimes look away, is like you can't stop it again. So when we hear like the embassy in Kingston and say, them not take no more application for the rest of the year. Yes, it's true. The embassy of Jamaica say, them not take no more application for the rest of the year because them is overwhelmed with how much people I tell them about say they want to go visit them family in especially New York. Especially New York. Every Jamaican have somebody in New York. If me ask Tracy right now if she have anybody, she will tell me yes. Yeah. See there? Yes. So the embassy is overwhelmed. Them say no more applications will be forthcoming unless it's some special thing. Maybe it's an artist, maybe me get away with it. He can go up there and say, boy, I have a show next month. So they will really facilitate that. But people look like they must suffer more now. I don't understand what is happening in Jamaica. Because it couldn't that there's something happening in America where I push that. I think it's something not happening in Jamaica, I push it. It's not something that's happening in America. Especially given the state of the third world move we are going now with America, you know, like America become a third world country. It's something not happening here. Why the people them are run go over there? And we really have to figure it out, you know, because may I tell you, it's terrible. But the reason why we say that is that I don't know if in my lifetime I will see it, but I know say I love see the time when we are saying so now is a normal thing. What is the normal thing we are talking about? That people just take us and say, boy, they want to go to Ghana, they want to go to South Africa, they want to go to Kenya, they want to go to Tanzania, they want to go in Africa. Just normally, just normally. Where the plane, the air flight, when people want to go to they say, let's hold on, never call me until him bridging, call him and say, Muta, they're on the radio, so you don't call him, you know. And then you basically call me and tell me, boy, Muta, is from me left, yeah. You me come by your radio at the program and all them things there. Boy, I'm busy. The man say, I'm busy. He can't find 5 minutes to call me until a man tell him on the radio, say, Muta, shout him. Anyway, me and your bridging, basically. And you know, say, we open up where home library to BSA for explore. And we call it book them that we recommend to the people them. You can go up online now, YouTube, right now, if you go up online, you see it. Book. Duke BSA Explore Mutabaruka home library. We want to remind the people them that the Porsche competition, the Marcus Garvey Porsche competition is still on. You know, entries close next week. Yes, the winners will be announced on the 17th. It's Marcus Garvey birthday, which will have a continuation on that day. And we want you to know that you can post something and deliver it, and we know everything about it already. Marcus Garvey poem must include Amy Ashwood Garvey and Amy Jakes Garvey in the poem. Open for the age 1 to 15. Trust me. Can't tell me say a 1 to 15-year-old can't write a poem about Marcus Garvey, you know, because we are like a 10-year-old that sing some big people song. You understand? I'm good with it too. Okay. The people them were, and I will know people, I was about 2 people. Still we're omnipresent and nobody don't believe me say me omnipresent, you know. Alright, so don't worry yourself, man. With the Pyre FM right now, but trust me, we're already there. You understand? Yes. Reggae Sundance Festival in Holland and Hoven. We say, as we are telling about the African experience and how the Africa wake up, and we say that people know Africa is not like a place where now people just say a Rasta talk about Africa, but Africa is open up to the point where you have Jamaican companies where Africa, you know. Yes, Jamaican companies where decide them to set up base in Africa, you know, Ghana and all these places. So it's not a joke thing. So it really feel good to know that things that Rastafari over the years has been saying and has been fighting for and has been fought against for is really manifested in here. You know, I talk to a sister and we are talking about how who that they believe say all them elders were gone. Who that they believe say them could have really smoke a spliff right now. Just like that, in front of police, I don't feel no way about it. That was unheard of. That is something like tired for lick weed in a bush. Go and come out in the open. Sung by the man called Jacob Miller years ago. No man not tired for lick weed in a bush again. Even though bush is a nice place for lick it still. Better than a concrete jungle. But the reality is that sometimes you struggle, and just when you give up is when you reach the light at the end of the tunnel. So would I tell the virgin and sister them, say, continue to struggle, you know. Good must overcome evil, you know. And it might look dismal, you know, it might say, sure, rotted, man. Oh, we have fight so long. It's like a man tell me, say, boy, muta. A long time you talk to them people, you know, them stiff-necked, you know. I mean, I say, you know much ones were removed from one stage and level in them consciousness to the next level. By then, upon this program, how long? You two was 10-year-old when them just start now. A 30-year-old nearly above 40, you know. And I can tell you, say, most youth right now were under 30. Most youth were under 30-year-old now who have African name. More than likely, other program, them have the African name. Me remember one time, years ago, me looking at it, I look for how much youth pass. And when me look how much youth pass, I say, wait, so much African name, and I say, we can't get the cutting edge credit for that. African names. You know we're going to bring it back? Pan the stepping razor. We're going to bring back that thing there, you know, African names for today's children. Where we give out African names and the meaning. And when we check a stock, the amount of youth we used to listen to cutting edge, a university, and now them gone away from another university in somewhere around the world and can reflect and say, well, you know, yeah, that bridge in there. Yeah, man, whole heap of them. Email every day we get that from people who used to come there Jamaica and I go school and listen. Now we're still there. So we now go make nothing divert we from where we are deal with. We are going to stand right. If it's even the last man standing, and me that, the last man standing, we're not going to make nothing divert we, you know. Because where we are talking about, and we see a whole heap of the things them, and come to a fulfillment, yeah. So we're going to continue the journey and know, say, yes, it's a just cause, it's a liberation cause, it's an African experience, African movement. That we are deal with.
Muta.
Blessed man.
Where are you, Papa?
I'm there, man.
Boy.
A boy, you gone, man?
Eh?
A boy, you gone, huh?
Hush. No, so mean. But all time saying. But I forgot eat, but me can't reach me hungry, I forgot stop side of there. Where name John Cross?
John Cross. Oh, I don't get there?
No, me I forgot eat screw. The student toward the teacher apology. About 2 weeks ago when they're at the Greek and Latin business.
Yes.
Yeah, but I couldn't get to call back because I realized
the first time the New Testament written.
Written, yes, but when me first time when it translate,
okay.
Latin is the first language it translate into from the Greek.
That's why the word Jesus Christ come in it, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, Jesus Christ never that until it translate to Latin.
Yeah.
Latin have its what them call etymological origin from Latin. The Jesus Christ. Jesus, come from the origin come from Latin.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But here what I call about an old still. The little mini xylophone repattern.
Xylophone, should you?
Xylophone repattern, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Listen to me, man. You think I you want she first she woman then 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you know, let me go yet.
May I tell you?
You understand me?
Well, she not let me not let her go that me carry her go to studio go record it.
Me jealous of Muta, say you fine.
Never find her, man. They go like Columbus. And Columbus thing I work with, you know. She did it all the while, you know. She did it all the while, you know. She captivate me with the first.
Hey, why me I tell you say, hey, she bad. But listen to me now. The show that were Tess and Chin didn't mash up was the voice. It's still a go on?
Yeah.
Then link Shaggy and see if Shaggy can put on.
No, we don't put her on that, man. No, we have to, man. No,
but
man,
the whole world would have seen them.
No, the world I go see her, man. Trust me, the world I go see her, man. She'll have to go up and voice with the world. See her. What do you hear me I say now? See, when I say I go get her at a voice training school, we just get a call from up a slide them studio. Bonnie Brown say, bring her come. Then we train her. So, and then Rebel call me and say, she booked for some space, so for Rebel Salute, so you know. Don't worry yourself, man. Don't worry yourself.
Career gone. Everybody
I'm going to make sure she go to school and pass her exam. I'm going to make sure she everybody know this little girl. Yeah, me, I'm going to make sure of that. Believe you me.
I called Umar Johnson out a couple of times. I think Umar doesn't want a particular debate with me because he knows that will expose him. He'll lose a lot of money debating me.
I had people on my Twitter that live in that particular area going past his, building in real time, still displaying wood up on the windows. It's wooded up.
Who ready to see the windows? Who ready to see the FDMG windows? Because the haters said we didn't have the windows. We've always had windows. Every window had glass windows. Name me your 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents.
If I go back to my grandmother's grandmother, she's supposed to know if her mother was in slavery or not.
I will not be debating Dane Calloway because I only debate my equals. All others I teach. But I would like to know, is he building any institutions for our people?
Now, I know it's probably been a couple of years, but I seen that did you and Dr. Umar ever have a debate? Did you ever have a debate together?
Umar Johnson is afraid of me. Wow. We were supposed to be having a debate, and he backed out.
I'm not debating him. He not on my level. He hasn't achieved in life what I've achieved in life. He don't have my credentials, my accomplishments, or my stature. He is a YouTubian struggle streamer. That man is a YouTubian struggle streamer. That man's only claim to fame is he is a YouTubian struggle streamer. If you think I'm going to take my 6 degrees and my 3 certifications, if you think I'm going to take my 6 degrees and my 3 certifications, if you think I'm going to take my 9 pieces of paper and put it up against a YouTubian struggle streamer with no credentials, no grassroots resume, no history of activism, you're out of your damn mind. Don't test my intellectual gangster. I will never debate a YouTubian struggle streamer unless you paying. $50,000 donation to FDMG, I will gladly conduct an intellectual execution.
And then he came out on a live stream and said, I will not be debating Dane Calloway. And it was hilarious. We were just laughing at it, because of course he was behind the scenes. Excuse me, that was my phone ringing. He was behind the scenes talking trash and then getting on his, it's funny. I look at it. It's flattering to me because he calls himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism, and yet he raised up the white flag. And it's not the fact that I'm coming after his information per se. I'm not trying to step on his toes, but this is the reason why they started bringing my name up, him and other people like him, because that movement started back in the 1960s. The Pan-African movement, pro-black, blackity black, black. And they see that as a lot of our people waking up to, wait a minute, that was a tactic done. That was supposed to be done to switch up our minds off of us being indigenous to this land and other people replacing us, okay? And that goes beyond the $5 Indian term. I'm pretty sure people heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. These phones are ringing off the hook now. But anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not trying to, it's not going to be to a point where I'm beefing with the brother. We got, real street beef, and it ain't going to be nothing like that. It's just that he took shots. I took shots back. He said he didn't want no smoke. That was it, As far as what he does, I believe he's a character within himself. I don't think he's legit, I mean, he's been promising the same school for eons and no results. Like, I had people on my Twitter that live in that particular area going past his, building in real time, still displaying wood up on the windows. It's wooded up.
Who ready to see the windows? Who ready to see the FDMG windows? Because the haters said we didn't have the windows. We've always had windows. Every window had glass windows. We just kept them protected until it was time to open up the school, brothers and sisters. This was not no abandoned building. It wasn't no boarded up building. Ain't no bando. $13 million project 10 years ago. $13 million project 10 years ago. Who ready to see the windows? I'm about to show y'all the windows, brothers and sisters. Let's go see it. Look at the windows. Look at the windows, brothers and sisters. The boards is off. Ifatunde Avenue, the boards is off. Look at the windows, brothers and sisters. Look at the windows. Look at the windows. That's right. That's right. Grand opening coming soon. Grand opening coming soon. Look at the windows, brothers and sisters. Look at them big, beautiful windows, brothers and sisters. Look at the big, beautiful windows on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Look at the big, beautiful windows on the Frederick Douglass. I got to show y'all the other side. I got to show y'all the other side. Look at the big, beautiful windows. Look at the big, beautiful windows on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey. We getting them tinted, brothers and sisters. Well, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all that glass. Look at all that big glass. We getting them tinted so nobody could look inside.
And I'm like, man, this whole time, where's the money going? But then I thought about it. I mean, where else would it be going? That's how he makes his living. So this is the reason why he came after me, because that's I'm stepping on his toes money wise. Inadvertently, it's not like it was directed at him, but yeah, they don't like that.
If you don't want to be black, just get on back. We ain't got to argue about this. You don't come from Africa. I understand. So why don't you take an ancestry test and prove that you don't come from Africa? Why are we playing all these games? Why are we playing all these pretendian games, huh? Pretendian nation. If you don't come from Africa, take a DNA test and prove it. That's all. Anybody come up to you talking about they don't come from Africa, their ancestors, tell them to take a DNA test and prove it. We ain't got to do no theory. We don't need no philosophy. We don't need no reasoning. We have science. We don't need no theories. We don't need no philosophy. We don't need any reasoning. We have science. Roll up your sleeve. In fact, they don't even take blood. You could get a Q-tip and swab the saliva. You could take a saliva DNA test. How much is the African ancestry test, brothers and sisters? How much is the African ancestry test, brothers and sisters? How much is the African ancestry test, brothers and sisters? I want these pretendians to take an African ancestry test. If you don't come from Africa, take the DNA test and prove it, or shut your self-hating anti-African ass up. Take the DNA test or shut up. I'm talking to all pretendians. Take the DNA test or shut the hell up. I'm talking to all pretendians. Take the DNA test or shut your ass up. I don't want to hear from no pretendians who haven't taken the DNA test.
I know a lot of people say DNA. Did you ever take a DNA test? And how do you feel about DNA tests?
A DNA test, okay, here's the thing. Right. Even though there's some similarities between the DNA test dealing with paternal and fraternal DNA tests, but a genealogy DNA test, even though it's conducted the same way, it can only go but so far. Okay. When they say genealogy DNA test, they need to tell you your historical genetic makeup, but they're limited to comparing your data with other living people. Okay, so you can't tell somebody's historical genetic makeup by tracing it or comparing it with other living people. That's nothing historical. So it's limited. This is the reason why they give discrepancies, to let people know that it's mainly for entertainment purposes. They hand you a sheet of paper just like how you graduated from school and said, yeah, you related to this person. Of course, they could tell you who you're related to if the person is still living. Of course, swab of the mouth. Those, I'm not saying that technology doesn't exist.
Right.
But the technology is impossible for them to trace back, further back, years back of deceased people.
Let's go one step further, pretendians. Let's go one step further, pretendians. Let's go one step. Can you please produce this overwhelming amount of literature from Pretendian Nation that proves y'all don't come from Africa? Here's what I mean. I'm talking to the Pretendians right now. Here's what I mean. Native Americans have a large literature. They have libraries full of literature on their culture, spirituality, sociology, way of life. Native Americans left a record of their civilization. You can read and study Native American civilization. The American African, although it was illegal for us to learn, although it was illegal for us to learn how to read, we left a vast literature of our experience in America. You can read our own words from the 17th century. You can read our own words from the 18th century. You can read our own words from the 19th century. You can read our own words from the 20th century. We have a vast catalog of literature. So let me say this to the Pretendians. Y'all were here before we got here, which I agree with, which I agree with. Which I agree with. What I disagree with is when you say you didn't come from Africa.
We've been told here in North America that basically all black people from here are from Africa.
Right.
That we were all imported. We were an export of Africa and imported here to America and forced in to be slaves. You have done research that shows the contrary, where many of us, not to say that some of us, that didn't happen for some of us, but many of us, matter of fact, the majority of us who are here in North America actually were what was called Native Americans. And the Native American that we have been given to us as the frame of reference is not necessarily the real image of what a Native American looks like. And a Native American actually looks like you and I. And
well, I would say this. The image that they're giving as far as what a Native American looks like right now has been changed. Of course, now they're trying to make it seem as if the Native Americans were of lighter skin complexion. That's not true.
And a mongoloid phenotype.
Well, so please produce the literature of the Pretendian Nation. Show me the authentic literature of the Pretendian people where they say they did not come from Africa. Can I please see that? Can I please see this large repository of Pretendian literature that says they claimed they didn't come from Africa? Ain't nobody show me that yet.
This is how you know it was us first, because before it was considered reservations. What were they called? Concentration camps. Before concentration camps, they were called public labor camps.
Labor camp.
Did we see any Native Americans go through so-called slavery? Because that's the land that they're talking about. Were they on the plantations? No. These people are brand new. They just got here. And you can't trace Native American to American Indian by way of paperwork. That's a brand new term that just started in the 1970s. I put that out there too. The first time that you heard the term Native American was from the Native American Party, the Know Nothings, the third largest political party during the time period of the Federalists and the Whigs. They were fighting for rights then, as foreigners. So that's why I tell people to stop calling yourself Native, because that has nothing to do with you. You're indigenous to this land. You're not a visitor.
You won't take a DNA test because that's going to bust your imaginary bubble. The pretendians will not take a DNA test because that's going to bust your imaginary bubble. You don't have no ancient literature of pretendian people claiming they don't come from Africa. You have no ancient literature.
I started using my own money, and started buying congressional records. And then I went further back and started getting colonial documentation. And I started traveling. That's what really sparked it when I started traveling. Like each state, and I don't care, I'm talking about in America, each state is a totally different country. It's just like if we travel to Africa, it's multiple different countries. We just call them states over here.
Right.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute. So it's correlation in cultures, but the story's not adding up. So if we have all of this land here, then I started questioning the stuff. That's what happened. I started questioning things. I'm not going to go into it because I'm pretty sure you're going to go into it later, but I started questioning everything for myself. And I started presenting these questions to my elders and my family members that were living at that time.
Now, let me go to my next point on the pretendian army. Let me go to my next point on the pretendian army. Let's see this. Let's see how this is going to go. Let me go to my calculator. Let me go to my calculator. I'm only going to keep y'all for a few minutes longer. Hit the Cash App. We got another school to build. Hit the Cash App. Okay, so here we go. You have 4 grandparents. Okay. You got 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-grandparents, 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents. Pretendian Nation, can I ask you a question? Pretendian Nation, can I ask you a question? Pretendian Nation, you have 64 great-great-great-grandparents. You have 64 great-great-great-grandparents. You have 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents. Can you please provide me with a list of the names and birth dates and birthplaces of your 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents? You can't do that.
Your ancestors, each generation is multiplied by 4. You got 2 grandmothers and 2 grandfathers. That's difficult. You're going to have to dig up everybody's grave in order to come up with a, proper solution as to, okay, you're related to these people right here. But that's impossible. They can't dig up everybody's grave, at least not without their permission.
You know why you can't do that, pretendians? Because you don't even know your damn grandparents' names. Most of you can't go back more than 4 generations. Most of you can't go back more than 4 generations. Name me your 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents. Name me your 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents.
If I go back to my grandmother's grandmother, she's supposed to know if her mother was in slavery or not.
Right.
That's right. Around that same time period, her mother is supposed to know. It's supposed to know. That story would have went down the line, would have been passed down. How come when I go to these, it's not even just my family. I go to these elders and I talk about slavery. They don't know what I'm talking about.
With all due respect, you all are full of shit. Forgive my language, but you're full of shit.
What do you mean slavery? Now, once again, I'm not saying that slavery is fake. I'm saying the slavery that we were told didn't happen the way it did.
You can't even name 8 of them. You can't even name 4 of them. Most of you can't even name 1 of them. And you want me to believe that none of them were from Africa, but you look just like an African.
Now, I heard you talking on a conversation that you were having a conversation with a grandparent or a parent about, their lineage. And, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that they didn't have a history of slavery or being slaves. Can you
my
talk
grandfather.
about that?
I brought it to my grandfather, and I asked him, I said, "Granddad, have you ever heard of slavery?" He was like, "Boy, what you talking about?" And I broke down to him what slavery was, and he was like, "Nah, that's You know, with him growing up, he was born in the 1930s. He never experienced that, any form of racism. In fact, his neighbors were white, were Caucasian. And I met them too when I went down there, like where he's from, which is Florence, South Carolina. And I met them. Great people. And I just couldn't believe it. You know, that was another reason why it encouraged me to, I mean, I believed my grandfather. I just couldn't believe that was the whole thing, where to a point where it's going to probably affect more than one person in that sense, meaning that they won't ever experience racism or ever experience slavery, haven't heard of any of that before. I was encouraged. I was like, you know what? Let me see if there's more people out there that will, you know, share these same stories. And come to find out it was, I mean, damn near millions of people are like, nah, my people don't know nothing about slavery.
With all due respect, you all are full of shit. Forgive my language, but you're full of shit.
Now, what I mean by that is when we tell them the stories of us being in chains and shackles and coming off of these so-called slave ships, they never heard of the story before. Like if we came from Africa, like some of my folks was upset that I brought this to their attention. I'm like, yeah, you know, they teaching us that we came from Africa.
None of your 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents was African, but you look completely African. Somebody make it make sense. Can somebody make it make sense? None of your 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents was African, but you look exactly like an African. Can we please take the DNA test and shut this shit down today?
Of course, still to this very day, people will fight you tooth and nail to say, no, we African. All because we share some similarities, not necessarily the bloodline.
Can we give can we raise some money so all pretendians can take an African ancestry test? Can we please raise can we please raise the money so all pretendians can take an African DNA test so we can shut this shit down?
Then they go years back beyond the 1800s telling me, nah, they've been here. Like, matter of fact, let's go meet your folks. He go to grave sites that are still here. Okay, here's the reservations they grew up on, but it wasn't called reservations back then. At that time, it was just plantations. And a lot of people get in the misconception of what a plantation is. Like, we thinking it's just strictly an area where a Caucasian would enlist enslaved people and work in the fields. But a plantation is just what it is. You're planting, you're growing crops. This is a farm. And a lot of our people had farms. And come to find out, a lot of our people had the majority of the lands. We were the landowners and the sharecroppers.
So the Callaway Plantation, also known as the Arnold Callaway Plantation, okay, is set of a historical building and open air museum located in Washington, Georgia. The site was formerly worked by a cotton plantation with slaves of African Americans. The site was owned by Callaway family between 1785 and 1977. However, the family still owns a considerable amount of acreage surrounding the Callaway plantation. When the plantation was active, it was a large size, owned several hundred slaves. Okay, so let me tell y'all something. Now they got one in Virginia, Washington, D.C. area where they ain't at, and then they got one in Georgia. Okay, but today we gonna specifically deal with the one in Washington, in Virginia area, nigga, cause that's where you got the name from. Okay, okay.
And that's North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia is where my family's from. And then they moved to Virginia, Maryland. Well, yeah, Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. It was, of course, it was called the city of Washington prior to it being called the Washington, D.C. or Washington, for that matter. That's nothing but Maryland, mainly. And if we go further back in the 1700s, it was nothing but Virginia. It was called the colony of Virginia. And my family has the records tracing back to that time period.
Man, show something before the 1800s. Here your dumb ass go, you was a slave, nigga. That's what you was. You know what I'm saying? That's what you was. Okay, and so here go the one right here. The one in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? The slave masters of the Callaway plantation. Okay, and so let me go. So right here is more than likely a relative of Dane Callaway. Okay, it's more than likely of a relative of him, but he's a slave to the people I'm about to show you. Okay, he's sitting on the Callaway plantation right there in the area that he in, that Dane is in. So more than likely, when you look in the goddamn, the slave census and shit, from the 1700s, I bet you Mr. Walter is in there. Okay, in his own family. That's why he hiding this shit, bro. Now you look right here. This right here, is Zachary Callaway. There was in the Revolutionary War. There was a war vet in 1749 and 1886. You know what I'm saying? So look right here. Look who it is, though. You see what I'm saying? Look, bro. Now, Virginia, Callaway. You see what I'm saying? White people. Okay? Now look right here. Then these are the people that own the Callaway plantation over the years. These is Dane Callaway family members, period. You see, he the one. He the black, so he the slave.
I specialize in investigative research on history in America.
He is a YouTubian struggle streamer.
And I've been sharing my research and discoveries and videos of various formats on my Dane Callaway YouTube channel.
That man is a YouTubian struggle streamer.
I got one more piece for the Pretendian Nation. When are you going to build a community for the Pretendians? I don't see none of these Pretendians doing anything for the Pretendian community. Ashe? Has anybody seen any Pretendians trying to build a school? Has anybody seen any Pretendians trying to open up a bank? Has anybody seen any Pretendians trying to build a supermarket? Has anybody seen any of the Pretendians trying to open up a hospital? Have you seen the Pretendians trying to get some land from the government or buy some land? Has anybody seen any Pretendians doing anything except intellectually masturbating on YouTube? I'm going to ask you again. Have you seen any of these I'm not from Africa Negroes? Have you seen any of these I'm not from Africa Negroes building anything except YouTube pages? I don't see them doing nothing. All I do is see them on YouTube trying to convince proud African people that they're not from Africa. That's all I see. That's all I see. Where is the community for the Pretendian people? If somebody is a Pretendian, how can they educate their kids? Do y'all have a Pretendian curriculum yet? Is there a Pretendian curriculum for parents to educate their kids? Do y'all have a bank? Do y'all have any health care? Can y'all employ? I don't see no infrastructure for the Pretendian Nation.
I'm the author of numerous educational books and various articles on this subject. And I'm currently in the process of producing films on these subjects as well. So it will allow the public to be cognizant of the indigenous people of America who are misclassified as black or African Americans that truly built America into what it is today.
All I see is YouTube struggle streamers. All I see is Pretendian YouTubian struggle streamers.
Now, are you denying that the Middle Passage or the transatlantic slave trade never happened?
No. I'm not denying the Middle Passage, and I'm glad you said Middle Passage, because that's what it was originally called. Right. No, I'm not denying it. It was just told differently. Okay? Like, in other words, they're trying to tell us that it was people that came from Africa to the Americas when it actually happened the opposite direction. There were other societies out called like the Kansas Colonization Society, for example. Eventually, there were a lot of missionary groups that got together and say, hey, it's a Negro problem going on right now. It's too many of these Negroes out here. We got to get rid of them. We got to move them elsewhere. I mean, what could we do? Could we get with some folk that has some land available where it's not a big population over there we could transfer some of these people to. When the missionaries came over here by way of the Congregation for Propagating the Gospel in Foreign Parts, one of their main duties was to inform people over here by way of religion that they were not supposed to be living here. So it was a lot of priests and pastors and chiefs that got involved with the American Colonization Society and encouraged 13 to 15,000 people to move to the coast of West Africa and populate places like Liberia, for example. But yeah, it wasn't a lot of us. The Africans in large numbers came way later in the 1900s.
I disagree with that logic. It is historically incorrect. It is anthropologically incorrect. It is biologically incorrect. It is genetically incorrect. It is ancestrally incorrect. African people are the first people on the planet Earth. And every other human family, except possibly the European, descends directly from us. If we do not leave Africa, no other race evolves from us. We would still be the only people on this planet if we never left Africa. For those who say we were in America before slavery, they are correct. We were in America before slavery because we were everywhere before slavery. We're the oldest people. We were on the planet by ourselves for tens of thousands of years before any other race evolved from us. So we're the first people in America. We're the first people in the Caribbean. We're the first people in Europe. We're the first people in Asia. So yes, we were here. When you read the diaries of Christopher Columbus, he talks of seeing African people, black skin, woolly hair, just like the ones he saw in Africa. Let us remember that Christopher Columbus did not discover. Christopher Columbus spent time in West Africa. And if memory serves me correctly, he spent approximately 2 weeks in the Elmina slave dungeon, during which time he was given a map that showed him how to get over to the so-called New World.
Were the palefaces speaking when he went to Africa to speak with so-called Africans? What language were they speaking?
Right.
How were they able to communicate?
Right.
To capture millions of Africans? And we talking about warriors now. Not no just, oh, come and get me. Warrior.
Marketeer.
And you gonna capture them with no problem? And it's just a few of y'all? That don't add up to me.
Right.
He was educated about the three major currents that flow from the West African coast over to North America, South America, and then the Caribbean. And so all he had to do was catch the sea current to the direction that he wanted to go. Oh, yes, he had several Africans who were on board with him. And of course, absolutely. And some people would call them Moors, but Moor means black, so we also have to pay attention to all these different names that they give to African people to try to make us think they were not African people. But yes, he had African people who were there with him. And he took the third current, the bottom current, that brought him to the Caribbean islands. So it was not a mistake. It was not an accident. It was not a discovery. He was simply following the instructions that were given to him by Africans who had already circumnavigated the planet. We were the first people on the ocean. Yes, it's true. The Portuguese had a golden age of maritime science, and the Chinese had a golden age of maritime science. But people forget that the Africans were the first with the golden age of maritime science, because if we were not the first in shipping, how did we get all around the world? Because we definitely did not swim. So getting back to your question, we were here before Columbus. So yes, you have pre-Columbian Africans in America. You have post-Columbian Africans in America. The issue that we have with brothers and sisters who are miseducating our children and our people, telling them that they didn't come from Africa, is the fact that everybody came from Africa. And it is ridiculous for the people who look the most like Africans to be the only ones in the world who would dare say we don't come from Africa.
Do they even have, I heard they don't have any evidence of the ships at all.
Of course not. Of course not. And a lot of these slave trade stories was told, like the transatlantic slave trade, for example. The transatlantic slave trade used to be originally known as the Middle Passage.
The Middle Passage, yes.
The Middle Passage was created by the godfather, what they call the godfather of anthropology. He's a German by the name of Franz Boas, Franz
Franz Boas.
Yes, he's the person. He's the top anthropologist that started the anthropology, number one, in America. He started anthropology in America, coming from Germany. And he also created the out of Africa theory. He's known for both of those. And his student that made it go viral was also a German immigrant, and his name is Melville Herskovitz, Melville. Herskovitz is Herskovitz. These are the two people that created that story and made, and Melville Herskovitz got funded by a lot of organizations during the top of the 1900s, during Woodrow Wilson's era, in order to push that into the educational system in order for us to learn about it. That was also during the time period prior to African studies being created in white school. That's number one. So we know where the direct connect is because that came before it was invented in schools or brought or cultivated in schools. So now we know the direct connect or who created it. Franz Boas and Melville Herskovitz, they created that story. And not everybody falling for it because they changed the names every time. Once you change the name, it changed the story. And it's almost like they do it every generation. They got to keep up that same narrative. You know what I mean? And it's actually we've been fed this. We just got fed this information in the 1950s. We just got this information in the 1950s. We started calling ourselves black in the 1960s. And that wasn't even on the census record.
We all come from Africa, but we can't get distracted by this type of propaganda and incorrect rhetoric because we've always had to deal with this as American Africans and throughout the diaspora. You know, when you look at the Honorable Marcus Garvey and after his deportation from America in 1927, many of the organizations who came after Garvey also propagated to our people that they were not African. All due respect to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught our people that they were not African, that they were Asiatics. All due respect to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he taught our people that they were not African, that they were Asiatics. So we have a history of black leaders coming before our people and basically distracting them from their Africanity.
500 videos and you only got you know what a damn YouTubian struggle streamer? They asses are struggling for views. And they can't keep my name out their mouth because whenever they mention my name, they get the most views. YouTubian struggle streamer.
Hey, look at Umar Johnson. Ain't he using Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey? He's using their name. That don't mean that they were a part of it. You're only going to latch on to people that they put out in the forefront because they made them popular. That's it. It's not because they did anything for you individually. What did Marcus Garvey do for us? Seriously, what did Harriet Tubman do for us? Seriously, the real talk. You can get mad all you want. What did these people do?
Set it on fire, fire, fire.
The only person that I can see that actually tried, excuse me, was Malcolm X.
I need an address to the Pretendian Cherokee Nation, the Pretendian Choctaws. Where is your land? Where is your institutions? Where is your army? You're telling our people to stop being African and come be a Pretendian, and you don't even have a damn hot dog. Can they get a hot sausage with some relish and sauerkraut from your ass? No, brothers and sisters, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm trying to read the word.
I gave those people an opportunity to come debate me. You know, they wanted to claim that we're all from Africa and all the rest of this little ideologies they wanted to crowd around that, you know, gained steam during the 1960s. I called all of them out, and they ran away. I'm talking about those that have big platforms, the Umar Johnsons and all the rest of them. So I'm not interested in getting somebody else's name up that have not put in the work. Like, if they're only averaging, a certain amount of people watching them, I'm not going to pay attention to those type of people because they're, of course, clout chasing and want the clout. So that's none of my concern. If those big guys that they hold up high as leaders of their particular ideologies don't want no smoke from me, then they lost.
Keep playing games with these white folks. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep listening to these damn YouTubian pretendians. Go ahead and see what happens to your life. Tell your kids to go to back to school night. When your kids go to the Black History program, tell them to stand up and tell all they white classmates and white teachers, I'm not from Africa. I was already here. I am a Native American. And then the white folks are going to say, which reservation are you associated with? And you're going to say, North Philly, South Central, Baltimore, D.C., Atlanta. Woo. Lord have mercy.